Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Faida binti Mansur. My number metric is A23A1840 and my topic today is Threat Theories of Leadership. The threat theory of leadership deals with leadership as an inborn attribute in people and with specific characteristics that are inherent in leader but not in subordinate. This theory is also referred to as the great man theory as they assume that leaders are inherently different from other followers in that they possess new traits. These are the physical attributes like more health and vigor, the IQ feature like intelligent and sound mind, ethical characteristics like virtue and right doing, and social characteristics like fellow feeling and self-validity. Viewpoint about trait theories of leadership. According to the trait theories of leadership, leadership traits are inborn qualities that make any leader differ from non-leader. Elaborated by Shen, this theory advances that apart from follower, leaders are equipped with a bundle or set of personal attributes they are born with: honesty, moral character, self-esteem, extraversion, emotional stability, conscientiousness, open-mindedness, self-supervision, focus, task proficiency, interpersonal understanding, communication, and achievement drive. Nevertheless, some criticism can be attributed to several aspects of the trait theories. In this case, there is a major weakness that is the inability to come up with a list of qualities that constitute great leadership, which are sometimes dull and disputed. Also, quantification of the feature may not be precise, hence undermining the capacity to decide the number of level of a particular feature that addresses the particular need. Moreover, the theory failed to consider situational influences in leadership success and implies that being a leader is solely enough for success. There is also no quantitative relationship between the level of threat and the level of success, which has many examples where people having this threat have also proved to be ineffective leaders. Related example. One is the ability to influence others. The best leadership traits are the ability to influence others through the use of charisma and assurance, motivation and drive to get things done, ability to be dynamic and adapt to change, intelligent to control their feeling and impulse and making decisions within very short span of time. These qualities are considered to be critical in leadership because they enable the leader to manage their followers, making the right decision and act in his/her subordinate best interest. Number two is self-confidence. Another measure of leadership is self-confidence, as leaders should be confident in making decisions. Self-confidence is defined as the mastery of self and having faith on one's skills and capacity. Giving hope to subordinate is another reason why it is considered as essential in leadership, because leaders are able to share this aspect. They have to resolve to make decisions and take this without having to necessarily consult other peoples. Number three is visionary. One of the essential skills that leadership possesses is the ability to think visionary. Strategizing is the capacity to think about an entity or process in terms of a future state of affair, which is not given. Leadership is the capacity to convince a group of people to engage in a particular endeavor and the capacity to make decisions based upon the vision. Number four. Number four is communication skill. Leadership also entails communication skill as one of the most important competencies in the contemporary working environment. Interpersonal skill refer to the level of interacting or the manner in which individuals convey messages to others. Then not it as a key leadership characteristic because leadership involves facilitating communication by encouraging the followers. Another important factor that is distinctly characteristic leader is strategic thinking. Um, Thus related to a set skill of analyzing and coming up with wise decisions that would have been made in the best interest of organization. They can do a SWOT analysis or similar to ensure that their decision will have improved or maintained the performance of the organization and benefit its stakeholder, therefore making it priceless quality for leader to possess. Other measure define communication skill where empathy is also seen as a major aspect of person who confront to the leadership qualities. Empathy is the ability to relate to and fully identify with the feeling of other people. It is as an essential leadership character attribute for the reason that leader can be easily trusted by their worker and in return can command devotion from their employees. Advantage. Number one, the treasury also has a numerous benefit, and that is provide an approach to organizing and analyzing different style and type of leader including charismatic, transformational, transactional, or situational. This could be useful for companies where one needs to find out which style would be most appropriate in guiding people in that particular organization with regard to achieving certain objective. Thus, by recognizing what kind of trait is linked to each sort of leadership, a person can use the proper approach to influence a team in a certain organization. Number two is difficulty or work complexity is also important in the idea of the trait theories of leadership because it advances a new perspective by which the leadership process can be seen and comprehended to an appreciable extent. The trade approach to leadership modeling originated in relation to perceived inadequacy in the leadership model, which were initially bureaucratic, including with leadership theories of the industrial age. This is an indication that these traditional theories were inclined toward emphasizing how individuals between organizations having structural relation of authority could exercise more effective control over others as pertains to certain prescribed organizational goal and objective. Disadvantage. Number one is the main limitation of affecting the trajectories of leadership is the lack of consideration on the various conditions that leader endures. Therefore, leadership is not a simple variable that may be defined and applied in any context, but rather a phenomenon that is highly dependent on the context in which it is manifest. Nonetheless, the treasury addresses all the leadership traits that an individual possesses, but does not pay attention to circumstances such as organizational culture, group dynamic, or the surrounding environment. This is because the theory has a tendency of offering more narrow ideas while at the same time offering favor forecasts of leadership success in all the scenarios. Leader may need to possess different or varying element of threat or a combination of threat depending on the action and environment of the situation circumstance prevailing at that time. These definitional factors are important realities that define leadership, and by ignoring this contextual factor, that theory or threat is incomplete to offer an extensive understanding of leadership. Number two, another concept that is criticized in the context of the threat theories of leadership is the subjective list of leadership traits coupled with an ability to come up with an infinite numbers of such traits. The theory lists a host of attributes that people possess and which are measured using such methods as self-assessment and may include intelligence, extraversion, and conscientiousness among others. The assessments are generally self-branched because one assesses their personality or behavior based on personal judgment. Similarly, the frequency of threat is unlimited, and some of the sources estimate about 600 primary personality threats. This inconsistency and vagueness of the approach illustrate the problem of identifying the most critical feature of leadership and their accurate assessment for further enhancements. The threat theory of leadership is one of the oldest theories which imply that leaders are people who possess some outstanding and inborn pattern or characteristics that make them different from other people. Of the conflicting theories about leadership, one of the most popular and discredited theories is the great man theory, which states that the leader have innate attributes that make them suited for leadership. The first major strength that is evidenced from the argument in favor of the threat theory is that the theory is actually an easy way of understanding and appreciating the trait of leader. Compared against the trait that have been known to be present in successful leader, one can evaluate the self or other based on how well or badly the individual fit the given metric and the area of improvement that may be required. It also introduces a benchmark by which a manager can examine his or her own ability individual employee skill, thereby defining the nature and degree of strength and weakness present in a given working environment. Further, the threat theory has received support from different research undertakings, thus justifying that kind of theory for different kind of organization. But still, there are some criticism of the threat theory as well. One of the primary criticism is that it failed to acknowledge that the importance of the additional, situational, and contextual factors that define leadership pattern and effect. The character which may be appropriate in one situation may not be ideal for another. There and then, they may not fit. Moreover, there is a tendency in the theory to underestimate the impact of the followers, peers, and the stakeholder in shaping the leader action and decision. This can be result in deterministic and elitist attitude toward leadership, making the role and equation seem innate and granted to select few. That's all for me. Thank you.